Hey everybody, Shenika Cas'mere here, and I want you to get into this beautifully soft glam enhancement on my model Ari. Let's get started. Before we get started, one thing that I love to do, I'm gonna give you this hack before you subscribe. This is gonna help you. I'm using the MAC 24-hour eye base. This is an eyeshadow primer, but I love to run it through the brows to really prep the hairs and also the skin under to really hold makeup in place. Next, I'm gonna give you another gem before I tell you to subscribe. This is a technique I like to use on my clients or models who have fuller or darker brows, and that's to lighten them just a little bit. It makes them a lot softer. And when I go in with my brow pencil, I'm not going to use a really dark pencil. I'm going to go in with a brown, just a medium brown shade. This is the Precisely My Brow by Benefit in the shade 4.5, and I'm going to use that to follow her natural shape, going in to enhance or add more hair-like strokes where I want to make her brows look fuller. But right now I'm focusing on the shape. I may want to make the lower part of her brow a little bit fuller, extend out the tail, but it all depends on my clients. And I'm going to use the spoolie of my brow to help blend that product in and to also move and manipulate her natural hair so that I can really see the shape of her brow. By lighting up the color of her brow and then also using a brow pencil that is not too dark, it just really gives this naturally enhanced brow. Another reason why I do not like to go with a super dark color on a client or model who has full dark brows is because I do like to sculpt out the brow, and I have learned the hard way that when you put that lighter concealer underneath the brow, as you can see now, it instantly makes that brow look darker. So I'm going in now with the MAC Full Coverage Foundation. I mixed two shades together to get this color. It is a beautiful formula to use as a concealer because it is full coverage, so it does help to conceal any brows that maybe need to be tweezed. And I love a cream product underneath the eye because it has more control. I'm taking the foundation shade that I'm going to use on her, and I'm going to use that to enhance the front of her brow, blending that into that lighter concealing shade. And this just gives a more natural look to this color. And also those products are going to be blended down on the eyelid to help be a eyeshadow base. And I'm using a small fluffy blending brush. I then went on with some more of that concealer, and I'm going to set it with a powder to make sure that it is super smooth. I'm going to speed this part along, but I wanted to tell you the gist of what I'm doing. My model Ari has smaller eyes, and I really want to be very careful with this dark brown shade. If I just use this with a really fluffy big blending brush, it's going to really blow out that color, and I'm going to lose some of the real estate of her eyes. But by being very strategic and going in with a flat fluffy brush, very small, I'm going to stamp out the shape, and I'm going to blend the edges with a small blending brush. So I'm really building up the saturation of that color, and then I am blending it out. So you will see me do this multiple times. I have her look open because the goal of working with smaller eyes is that I want to make sure that everything can be seen, and again, to use all the real estate. I did not want to blow that color out where you could not see her brow bone. I really want you to still be able to see all parts of the makeup application. Now I am going to add more definition to the lid shade, not so much a cut crease. So I used a fluffy brush to really put the color on, and then I remembered I have this new brush, the cut crease brush by Mitchell or Mitchell, and I'm using that to give me more definition in the front of her eye, not so much cutting it. And then I go back in with that fluffy brush to really press that product in and also take off any excess product. And I use the Danessa Myricka Nude, I believe Nude 3 or Nude 5 cream product. I'm going back in with that small, flat, fluffy brush to again enhance that outer V. I'm being very particular about the shape of her eyes. And I'm using small brushes because my model has smaller eyes. I'm going to go in with a golden metallic shade, and because it is a shimmer shade, it's going to have light bounce off, making her eyes look even, her eyelid space look even bigger. And I'm taking a small blending brush to blend the edges of that dark brown into that metallic golden shade. And I'm also going to use that small brush to enhance even more of the crease color in her eyeshadow look. One of my favorite tips, and I love doing this for bridal, is on the ball of the eye, taking a lighter shimmery shade, because light is just gonna ping, it's just gonna bounce off of that, giving like this glowy, ethereal look. And also on someone with smaller eyes, it brings more light to the look. And I'm going to go in and line with the Inglot number 77, being very particular not to make too thick of a line because, again, she has smaller eyes and I didn't want to close them up. I then decided like randomly to put a shimmery gold pigment on top. Again, the more light makes things look bigger. Complexion is my favorite part of the makeup application. I am your complexion artist. So the first thing I wanted to do is go in with a corrector shade around her mouth. She also has some darkness going across her nose and underneath her eyes. I'm only using the corrector color where it is needed. I'm using the Nars Radiant Creamy Concealer in Hazelnut. I just love the formula, and the shade has a little bit of warmth or peachiness to it, so it really does cancel out any darkness. And I set that with some Dermablend loose powder to make sure that that shade doesn't blend in with her foundation. I am then wanting to add some radiance to her skin by using the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter in number 7. It is a beautiful staple product in my kit. And now I'm going to go in with the foundation. I'm using the Nars Radiant, Natural Radiant Foundation in the shade New Caledonia. And I'm using this angled foundation brush from Bdellium Tools. I think I may be obsessed with this brush set that I recently got. It is a fluffy brush, a little bit bigger. So the bigger the brush, the more surface area it covers. So you're not working too hard blending the foundation. I'm going to push that foundation into her hairline, and to like kind of hack my clean makeup aesthetic, I use that foundation to clean up around the brow. And because it is the foundation shade, it just melts into the skin, so no halo brow here. And like I told you before, her brows look lighter when we first started the makeup application, but because I did put that lighter concealer shade underneath her brow, and now I'm framing her brows with that foundation, it just makes the brow look darker, but not too dark. And I love that technique. Next, I'm going to grab my concealers. I'm using the Pat McGrath concealer. I believe this is an M24 is the first shade. And I am going to use this underneath her eyes, on the bridge of her nose, the center of her chin, and the center of the forehead. The center of the face is where people most directly put their attention on you. So the center of a face for a woman has been proven to be really important. So we want to really highlight, and I'm using this brush. It's unique. I'm going to put it on my Instagram story so you can really see it up close. It's also from Bdellium Tools, but I love how it just blended out everything. I keep my foundation brush really close to me because I want to blend the concealer into the foundation. So I keep it close One way to enhance your artistry is to have impeccable blending. You do not want anyone to notice where one product ends and where another product begins. Your skin naturally just fades from one tone to another, so you want your makeup to do the same thing. Next, I wanted to bring in just a little bit of brightness in the center of her face. Also, this is a great way if your client or model has any hollowness underneath the eyes, to take a lighter concealer. While that concealer is sitting there for just a little bit, I'm taking the Danessa Myricka Balm Contour in Deep 1 to contour or shade her face. And at first, like when I was doing her makeup, I was like, I don't see anything. But looking back at the footage, I was like, you can see it. It's so slight, and I love it because I'm going to be layering powder products, which is going to enhance that contour shade even more. But it was just beautiful, and the texture of this product blended into the skin. It was lightweight. Now I'm going to go in with a smaller brush, a different brush from what I used before, to really press in that lighter shade. When you let your concealer sit, it kind of sets just a little bit, and this gives you a lot more control over that creamy product. I'm just going to use whatever's left on my contour brush to blend the edges. I used the Danessa Myricka Evolution powder in number 3. This is my first time using the powder, and I wanted something a little bit brighter, but I would say I appreciate how smooth and finely milled that powder is. It gave the most luxurious set to the skin. So I'm excited to use it even more in my kit. I set the rest of her face with a MAC mineralized skin finish in Dark Deepest. Now you are going to see me use just one of my favorite products. It is the Bakerie loose powder, their setting powder in Cassava. It's this really pretty light yellowy shade. Now this is not baking. I'm going to call this air frying because it is quick and it gets it done. It's not going to sit on the face forever and a day. This is real quick. So while I'm air frying underneath our eyes, I'm taking the Juvia's Place bronzer in the shade Dark to again enhance that contour, or that bronzer, that cream bronzer shade that I put on before this. I'm then going to use the Too Faced Killer eyeliner in black. This is bomb. It lasts a long time, super waterproof, so I'm excited to have this in my makeup kit, especially for my brides. I had a bride, her eyes were watery, they were juicy, y'all, but that eyeliner did not move. I am now smoking out underneath the eye because I really want the bottom of the eye to be balanced with the top. So I'm going in with smaller brushes, and I am taking, I used her bronzer shade first, and now I'm just going with a little bit of black just to define the eye a little bit more. I am taking a brush now and really pressing in that Bakerie powder. It's so good, y'all. It just really just sweeps away. I don't have any issues with that powder. So as you can see, underneath her eyes have a little bit of brightness, but it's not too stark, and I love that. So I'm going to go ahead and put on her lashes. I did use the Ardell Double Wispy Lashes, one of my favorite lashes, because it's that right in the middle. It's not dramatic, but it's not supernatural, and my clients love that. I'm going in with a deeper, I think one of the Juvia's Place, the dark deep shade, to really just enhance that contour shade. Lips, you have to have this in your kit. This is a staple. This is the MAC Chestnut pencil, a dark brown lip pencil. We are going for a nude lip. I'm taking my favorite nude lip, which is the Cocky Cosmetics liquid lipstick in Explicit. It's long wearing, it doesn't move. It other products like glosses Everything just layers beautiful with it. And I'm using a brush to blend it out. In the center, I use the Danessa Myricka Nude Vision Cream. I think that's what they're called. Just in the center to make it lighter. And now I'm going to place her lip gloss on top. You don't want your client to rub this in. You want to place the gloss where you want it to be. Oh, it's so pretty. Make sure you subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos. Let me know if you learned anything, if you're taking away any tips. I'm going to enhance her cheeks with just a little bit of blush. I'm going to have the color down below. Applying mascara because we want the balance with our eyes. I use the Morphe Continuous Setting Spray to really mesh the powders that I use on her face to make them more skin-like, and I use my foundation brush to press them in. This is our final look. Ari looks beautiful. Her brown skin is still brown skinning. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Bye.